Q. We continue the lesson 1, mystical backdrop of dreams, with the workbook activities. Workbook activity, year 3, lesson 1 is on pages 16 and 17 of the Dream 2 Discourses by Harold Klemp. Imagining stepping out of a box and flying to spiritual freedom seems less of a way to liberate yourself and more of the escapism that people warn people away from mysticism for. As for the phrases shared from the first audio track on the excerpts of the Dream 2 Discourses that prompt a response, I talked about it on my commentary to this CD. The following workbook activity is on page 6+6+6. Even if I didn't read the Spiritual Notebook or whatever other official Eckankar book, it would not surprise me to hear the claim that Mithraism found its origin in Eckankar, a teaching not even spoken about by Paul Twitchell till 50 years ago. I read a number of books by Joseph Campbell, so Occidental mythology was vaguely familiar, as was the subject of Mithraism and the modern day teachings of Eckankar. I don't know what I can say I appreciate about Eckankar's distinct teachings when I don't consider them less spiritually authoritative than most who have shared dreams or unusual experiences with me. Now, I'm not saying that Joseph Campbell mentioned Eckankar or Scientology at all in any public format, because I don't remember any such things. So. The next workbook activity is on the following page. I won't write a note to Harold Klemp like he is my way-shower, or Mahanta, and expect to see results. I think the spiritual importance in that quote that is from the paragraph that goes between pages 7 and 8 of the Dream 2 Discourses can be in the terms of not being a sociopath and working on God's side. The following workbook activity is on the next page. If you pray to someone other than God on a subject, you evoke your own connections to the subject, but it doesn't mean that they are really your inner master or outer master, or that they have helped you discover anything. The Dream 2 Discourses by Harold Klemp has workbook activity, year 3, lesson 1, number 5, on page 21. The only real uniting of you with anyone called Mahanta is through actually communicating with them in the empirical world, and indirectly through how you interact with their organizations and followers. The next workbook activity is on the following page. Divine love is from God and needs no intercessors to provide it. Islam teaches us to pray that the creations who are good to us have better. And when I've shared all the Zoroastrian material, that's sort of the thing, is you're praying not only for yourself, but the whole good spiritual side. I had forgotten some of my experiences of my evening ride and dreams that I recently read again. But I am certainly not going to write a thank you note to Harold Klemp or even say, all I have is out of divine love. Well, God provides all the means, but, there's other divine emotions too. So the exception would be in the Hadith Qudsi, sayings attributed to Prophet Muhammad, quoting God. I was a hidden treasure. I very much love to be known. I created the worlds so that I would be known. The following workbook activity is on the next page. The meaning of a dream from a year ago tomorrow that helps me in my life is that one is to make a continual pursuit of knowledge and good deeds, both open and secret. I figured that out without compromising monotheism. and praying to an alleged Eckmaster. Workbook activity Year 3, Lesson 1, Number 8 is on page 24 of Eckankar 2 Discourses by Harold Klemp. Let me begin by saying I'm not going to place this discourse open to show the illustration of two windows towards me. I want to open the actual spiritual window to my inner worlds, so by lacking in understanding myself does not stand in the way of maximizing righteousness and the development of consciousness. The final workbook activity for the lesson entitled The Mystical Backdrop of Dreams is on the last 3 pages of Lesson 1. I didn't see any difference in dream recall over the past month, nor did I say the blasphemous affirmation in this month's spiritual exercise of Eck. The practices I do that help me before sleep that help are making sure the period of prayer that started has seen me perform orisons, performing ablutions for a final time before sleep, sleeping in God's name, reciting or reading from Al-Quran or a prophetic saying, and falling asleep with a spiritual practice. I have not been reading from the discourses more than needed to write my response discourses and learn what ritual is prescribed for that month. I likewise have not turned to stranger by the river, except to answer questions on Eckankar.